But the Jezebel spirit has already been here. The Jezebel spirit opened our event. This is a rebuke and a correction of no one. This is an observation. Before the Word of God was open, there was a platform. It was a high place. On it was a pole, an ashtray. The same thing that's used in the strip club for women who have the Jezebel spirit to seduce men. In front of that was a man who ripped his shirt off like a woman does in front of a pole at a strip club. That man then ascended, and then he swallowed a sword, and Jesus cried, okay, Pastor John, I'll receive that. Thank you.
If Mark wanted to say that, he should have said it to me first. He didn't. Matthew 18. Go to him privately. I talked to Mark for a half hour. There was not one word of that. He's out of line. If he wanted to say it, he could say it to me.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, I'm so excited. It gets me so excited. I'm going to try to make this quick. You know, I have so much respect for Pastor Mark, man. The fact that he was willing to get up there in front of all those people and stand for righteousness. And he was willing to just go on ahead and bring it, man. The real problem we have in the world, in my opinion, and who am I, but look around, is yes, a lack of discernment. Yes, a lack of, conscience, but primarily a lack of strong men. An absolute lack of strong men. And I believe that the reason there are so many things happening in this world that are unrighteous and that are evil is because men have become weak and they have allowed it. And too many men are just not willing to get up there and stand up for what's right. Look at this, man. There's no reason. There's nothing okay about this type of a performance happening in church. Like maybe if you're going to see Cirque du Soleil, but like a dude, dressed like that, climbing up a rope and dancing around like, even the lighting, the whole vibe. But let him who has ears to hear, let him hear. If you have some discernment, you would feel this, you would see this, you would see what spirit this is of. But people's consciousness have been seared off. And that's exactly what the Bible talks about will be happening in the end times. Consciousnesses will be seared off. Things that are evil will be called good, and good will be called evil in these times. Then the many times the Bible talks about the wrath of God. The judgment of God's one thing, but the wrath of God, many times what it talks about is, and he gave them over to their own fleshly and warped desires. He gave them over to a warped and perverted heart. He gave them what they wanted. They ate their full. And that's generally what happens. You sin enough and you stop feeling that nudge to stop. You sin enough and your conscience gets seared off. You sin enough and all of a sudden it's just fine with you. Of course it's fine with you because you're being your own God, right? And I just have so much respect for this pastor who stood up and said, hey, this isn't right and we shouldn't be doing this. And you know what the crazy thing about it is? That's what real love looks like, and that's what real masculine love looks like. Motherly love is acceptance and comfort and nurturing and necessary. But masculine love is standards and exclusion and constructive criticism. Hey, son, this is not good enough. I love you too much to say that this is good enough. The world will wreck your face if you think this, if you listen to your mom who loves you in her own way, and you go out into the world with this participation trophy. You know what I'm saying? Son, you must be able to outperform, right? You must be able to maintain statutes. You must be able to set a standard in the world and for your family and for this tribe and with our last name, and represent the literal outpicturing, physical walking representation of the glory glory of the God you serve when people look at you and come in contact with you. That is what you are here to do. You're here to be the physical embodiment of an individual possessed by the same sovereign, superpower, ultimate spirit of God. And he would not be associated, he would not be condoning anything like this, whilst he would be coming to love and help, and has already died for an individual and all individuals like this. And none of us are perfect, but it is the responsibility of all of us, especially us men, because what men say goes. What men say, that's what dictates the quality of a society. What men allow to happen and what men are complicit in and silent about is what is going to happen, because the reality is men are the ones that dictate the way the world really truly is. And when they don't like it enough, they create a revolution. You never find no stories in the world where it's like, and then all the women rose up and said, we're not gonna take. They're begging for their rights right now as far as pop culture is concerned. You wouldn't be begging if you had the power to take them, right? So you wouldn't be fighting for your rights and asking and marching. We would be taking them, right? So I blame all of these things on weak men with no discernment and without the balls to face their tribes and their families and be out in the marketplace standing for what is right. And I have nothing but respect for this pastor who's standing for what is right. And I want to encourage all you men out there, when you see something that's not right, if you got to get in a fight with your wife, if you got to get in a fight with your daughter, if you got to get in a fight with your son, if you got to get in a fight at work, or in the marketplace, or in front of a few thousand, 100,000 people, whatever he's looking at, you better do it, because you better know who your source is. And the fact that you don't have a spine is a testament that many of you don't know who your source is. Your God is this world, and that's why you care more about what this world says about you than you do about how you represent the Father and what he says about you. I've spoken long enough. I share this message in support of this pastor and in a spirit of love for all of you. And I hope that it causes us to activate, stand up for what we believe in, fight and die for something, or you're just going to fall for anything. Byron Rodgers, man of peace. I love ya. Boom.